The Game Awards happened weeks ago, but the fallout is still strong. This is nothing new for this show, which has been riddled with controversy for years now. Personally, I have not watched this show in years. I never understood why they call it an award show when all they do is play trailers. I understand why they would run ads. That is how you pay for everything. But there are almost no awards. Anyway, excuse my unrelated rant. Let's get back to the main issue. Every year there is one award that garners the most debate, and that is the Game of the Year. In some years there is a clear winner that stands out above the rest, and in other years, the decision is a bit tougher. For me, Last of Us 2 beating Ghost of Tsushima is still the biggest heist. However, this year people are having a similar debate. However, I have to say that opinions are a bit more split. Astro Bot received the biggest honor of the night when they won Game of the Year. Now, I need to point out that most people love this game. The reviews for it were great. I was reading through the comment sections, and most people seemed upset over the hate that Astro Bot was getting as it distracts from how good the title is. With that said, there is a deeper conversation. As great as Astro Bot was, many feel that it did not do enough to beat out Black Myth Wukong. For some reason, it simply feels that many within the media do not like this title. Many might remember a couple of months ago when IGN did a piece on how sexist the developers at Black Myth Wukong were. In a statement at the time, they said, "Last year we published a comprehensive report on IGN detailing a number of sexist and inappropriate remarks made by multiple developers of Black Myth Wukong, including those in leadership roles at Game Science. As of the publication of this preview, Game Science has yet to provide any response or statement addressing our report or their past remarks." Like Mitchell, I had the opportunity to see Black Myth Wukong at Summer Game Fest, though my appointment was admittedly a little strange. I was told as a part of my invitation that Game Science would have a statement related to the reports of sexism. I arrived at the appointment and saw the game as planned, but when I asked for the promised statement, I was told by a PR representative, "Game Science is focused on the demo during play days and will only answer questions related to gameplay." Mitchell's preview doesn't need my validation, but for what it's worth, I fully back everything he's written here. Black Myth Wukong looks like it'll be a great game. It's gorgeous with snappy combat, fantastic monster design, and some really interesting boss fights. It is also true that several of the people who are making it have made disparaging remarks about women and don't seem to be interested either in retracting their past statements or in supporting the numerous women who are being harassed in online conversations about Black Myth Wukong purely for expressing their discomfort with those statements. Both of these ideas can exist simultaneously. What audiences want to do about this conflict is ultimately their choice. One last note. I didn't see any women or femme-coded characters in the demo, and I was able to confirm from Game Science that there were none present in the section of the game presented to the press. There will be women in the final game, but for now it is impossible to really comment on whether or not Game Science developers' expressed beliefs permeate Black Myth Wukong in a meaningful way. That was the statement that they made at the time. As you can see, they were trying to get on to everything that they could. The sexist statements they are referring to are nothing more than an extremely poorly translated quote, something that we can also thank IGN for. Then they also complained about there not being enough women in the video game. It is worth pointing out that there are women in the game. IGN just does not think that it is enough. I wonder if they gave that same criticism to Astro Bot. The point that I am trying to make is that Black Myth Wukong was always fighting an uphill battle. Sadly, in the West, many studios are now fully compliant with the ideology that these game journalists prescribe to. Ubisoft, Naughty Dog, and many more are under the spell. Black Myth Wukong is from China, and there they simply do not care. You cannot control them with a smear piece. You also cannot extort them into complying with certain agendas. Thus, the best you can do is a couple of hit pieces and hope people do not buy the game. If that does not work, keep them from winning Game of the Year. For those who do not know, the gaming committee that votes are gaming outlets and journalists. So now that we have the background, we need to once again work our way back to the Game Awards. After Black Myth Wukong lost out on the top prize, there was a lot of debate and discussion. One YouTuber and Sony developer in her own right took to her personal channel to discuss the outcome. Alanah Pearce, in her video, mentioned that she saw one developer cry due to losing. That statement immediately got picked up by many outlets who decided to run with the story. It got so big that the developers behind the game decided to respond. They first made a general statement about losing out, stating, "The games nominated this year were all exceptional, but honestly, I still can't figure out what the criteria were for Game of the Year. I feel like I came all the way here for nothing." That was from Game Science CEO Feng Ji. He added, "Since last night, I've seen a lot of strong dissatisfaction and frustration in players' comments, often expressed humorously or ironically, which made me laugh. I completely understand these feelings and share the frustration, because behind these emotions lies not pain or malice, but dignity and confidence." As per Eurogamer, former Sony Santa Monica writer Alanah Pearce shared in a stream she witnessed a person from the Game Science team crying in the audience when the game didn't win. "It clearly meant a lot to them. They did an amazing thing. But I did find that surprising," said Pearce. The Chinese media, to be more specific IGN China, responded to this by stating, "It's obvious that she mistook someone else. Since I was with the Game Science team the entire time during those days, including the TGA night, no one cried over this. In fact, I didn't even see anyone crying at the event. I have no idea why she said so." Now, this response resulted in some backlash towards Alanah, with people accusing her of lying. I obviously do not know her personally, so I really do not think she was lying. She mentioned it during a live stream, and thus there really is not that much to gain from telling such a story if it is untrue. It is highly likely that she either mistook someone for crying or that they were unrelated to the Wukong team. Regardless, that is where we are at. Black Myth Wukong missed out on an award that many felt they should have won. As CEO Feng Ji said, the other nominees were worthy of nomination, and everyone loved Astrobot. It just feels like maybe Black Myth Wukong should have squeaked out the victory.